Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 425. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. How we doing, Mike?
We're doing it. The things and the stuff, you know. We got before we start bullshitting, we got Zach Chapman on the show today. We're going to talk about Dino Nights again, with the writer this time, the mastermind of sci-fi behind it all. I wish we could have talked about more of his books, but we had to get through Dino Nights, you know. We'll have to have him back.
I could have sat and talked to that dude for 3 more hours.
I know, it's like when we have a horror guest and you get a sci-fi guest, it's pretty awesome when that stuff happens. Quick story time. It was the pre-release for Final Fantasy this weekend, so they were taking pictures of us for art, because there's a new hero mechanic, there's a hero token. And so they had these little frames, and that's me standing next to a cutout of Cloud, but this, you put it over the card and it became your token for the card. Pretty awesome. Yeah,
that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, stupid stuff like that. And then I keep telling everybody I pulled a VV to at the pre-release, which is like
that's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, that's what everybody wants, and it's like full art. So I pulled it. I lost most of my matches, which I didn't even care, because this is the only card I wanted really out of the set, and I was like, I don't care what happens for the rest of the
I could lose every game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I did. I left early. Leaving early. I mean, it takes like almost 3 to 4 hours just to play a few games, but I was like, I'm done for the night. I'm too tired. I'm not going to win. I already got VV. I'm out of here.
Is it still? It's been a long time since I've done a pre-release. Is it still like a draft thing where you open the pack and you pick a card and then you shuffle to the next person? And
so you get a pre-release kit with six packs and a promo card.
Okay.
And you can build any deck out of those 6 packs and promo card you want, and then it's a 40 card deck, and then you play. Yeah, a lot of newer players there that honestly haven't even played Magic, because Final Fantasy, and this sold out like quicker than any other pre-release. It's been insane. There was a ton of people. We had to start late because there were so many people, which is fine. More people are playing Magic. That's great.
Yeah.
It was insane. I mean, absolutely insane. So highly recommend, if you're thinking about getting into Magic, check it out. The cards are a lot of fun. Wizards put so much love and thought into all these cards. I'm not even the biggest Final Fantasy fan, but I know a lot of people that are. Were just talking about how amazing all that stuff was. So it was a good time. I also saw something interesting happen a couple days ago, Chris. I was driving along, right? And you know how, like, okay, our Superman symbol that we grew up with, like, is the classic, we call it classic Superman symbol, like, I don't know, Christopher Reeve Superman. But now we see James Gunn's Superman symbol, right? This newer, more like edgy, sharp. So I stopped at a red light, and there's this group of, like, I don't know, these group of girls, like maybe 13 years old, and they're like crossing the street. And one of them has the new Superman shirt on as she's crossing the street. And then I thought, man, I was like, that's awesome that she already has the shirt. The movie's not even out yet. But then I was thinking to myself, we're creating a whole new generation of like kids that are into comics and stuff, that this is their Superman. You know what I mean? And it's like a symbol that's completely different than all the other Supermen. It was just an interesting thought I had about comics. And then I got home and I was like, oh shit, I'm in my driveway. I should probably. But I was like, man, that's crazy that like this movie coming out in about a month now, is like, you know, this is like the introduction for a lot of kids, like younger generation, which is awesome.
I think about that a lot with like the generations and how they see a character, because like I'm being a big Moon Knight fan.
Yeah,
I know a lot of the old like guys that were there when it first was created are like, oh, that Moon Knight now is stupid. It's not what it was back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, but they took that and I can explain to them how like that became the history for this version, and how they morphed kind of what they were doing in the 80s and 90s, and like, oh, it's stupid. And I'm like, all right,
at least you're getting Moon Knight stuff. Just, yeah, okay, boomer. Yeah, just be happy you're getting more Moon Knight stuff, right? Let's celebrate that. But yeah, that's just a couple things going on.
All that's happened over here is I want to switch to, and I can't find one.
Oh yeah, damn, no pre-orders, huh?
Well, see, I was explaining this to the guy at GameStop, because there was the guy who runs our local GameStop is very nice. Like, younger guy in his 20s, but good enough dude. And he's always good. But he has employees that like think they're the comic book man from Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
And one goes, "Well, you should have gotten a pre-order." And I want to be like, dude, I work.
Yeah, right.
And I work anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And your stupid fucking pre-orders happened, as well as the launch of the system happened in a weekday.
Yeah.
During hours where I'm working. So I got here when I could. And by the time in both cases, you were out.
Right.
And I just...
It almost amazes me sometimes because, like, I can't imagine how GameStop almost went out of business because it's like, you think to, like, supply people conveniently would be your biggest target audience and not inconvenient.
And to the credit of the store, I told the guy who runs it there, because he's always been nice to me and everything.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I go, dude, like, I know I'm old man now. Like, I worked here 20 years ago or whatever it was at this point.
Right.
15 years ago. I get the grind and everything, but like, I can buy this stuff online. I told him flat out, like, I could do this online, but like, I like having a store in town, so I keep coming here. But people are gonna be dicks to, like, your employees are gonna be dicks to me. Yeah. You're gonna force me out of the store. And he's like, "Oh no, nobody should be acting like that." Blah blah. I was like, I don't want to be a snitch, but also like,
right.
I don't want to come in here and be treated like some old fart that I know I am.
Yeah. You should have pre-ordered, boomer.
Yeah, I was fucking working, dude.
I was working here before pre-orders were a thing, you loser.
Yeah, no, trust me, they were a thing.
Damn. Well, I hope you find one soon. That's and let me know how it is when you get one. So.
So too, so next weekend, not tomorrow. So we're recording on Sunday, everybody. Yep. So not tomorrow for us, Mike, but the following Monday. Mm-hmm. Both my parents have a different surgery happening at the same time.
Oh man!
So I'm playing show. I took time off work for that because that's important adult stuff, and I have to chauffeur them both around. And my like hope of all hopes that I can find one this week, so I can just be at the hospital playing Mario Kart World like a goddamn adult.
Yeah, that's adulting and being a kid all at the same time. That's all you want to do. Yeah, I hope you find one. That'd be awesome.
It's a matter of time. We'll see.
All right, we're gonna jump right into it. We've got an action-packed show, everybody.
Yes.
TV. So Prime gave us a first look at their newest comic book adaptation series, Butterfly. Butterfly was a graphic novel created by Rush Hamel, and coming streaming series will star Daniel Day Kim. So it's like a spy thriller noir thing. Did you read this book?
I didn't. I've never heard of this before.
Me either. I love Daniel Day Kim, so I'm watching it just for. I love that guy. He's from Lost. He's Jin from Lost. If anybody, and he was also Fire Lord Ozai. If you watched the Avatar live action, Daniel Day Kim is the man, and I don't believe he ages because he looks just like he did on the first episode of Lost.
Yeah, I saw this news and I was like, okay, this sounds like a spy thriller. If it's good, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And then I saw who was like starring in it, and I knew
Yeah,
you were a big fan of his. I was like, oh, Mike's gonna like this.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and I don't like. It's so funny because I don't even know anything about it, but I saw him like with a gun, and I was like, hell yeah. And also, it talks about like a lot of Korean. I think it takes place in Korea, so like South Korea. So I do like that. I think it mentions that there's a little bit of an influence there. What the article should not be doing is saying, is this going to be the next Boys? We found the next Boys. It's like, shut up, Amazon. Or comicbook.com. But
Amazon got their big thing with the Boys, and so now they're all in on
you're not going to find that
comic
again
book
anytime soon. And that's not, I'm sorry, that's not the property you're going to do it with. There are some properties out there.
And if you want what their next big comic book thing could be, they also have, they're also doing the Criminal series. But even that, like, that's not a superhero thing. That's another crime thing. So and there's been rumors that they're going after Astro City too, because they want a superhero thing.
Oh my god!
The Boys.
Now that would be cool.
But yeah, Amazon's all in. I think Amazon's a great place right now for specifically comic book adaptations.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Obviously, The Boys, obviously Invincible is
Yeah.
big. I think they're doing really cool things. So they seem to have their foot in the right direction. What I'll be interested in with this is not because this really has anything to do with James Bond, but I'll be interested to see how they handle this, to see maybe if
they
give me an
do take
idea
over
how
James Bond.
Prime thinks about spy thriller stuff.
Yeah, we'll see how they do with that. Then go from there.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios' Vision Quest series has recast the role of Edith. Actress Emily Hampshire will now be playing the role. Previously, we saw this character played by Dawn Michelle King in Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, so we're getting a recasting. I don't know. The reasoning for the uncasting is unclear. I guess she's not done much acting besides the voiceover performance, so they say that she hasn't done much acting. Maybe that's just why.
Yeah, I think they want to, like Vision, make her an actor, a character in the real world.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of the series is going to be like talking about AI and bringing AI into robotics and all that stuff. So yeah, probably just get an actress to do it.
That's cool.
It honestly, I don't think anybody's going to even notice.
Yeah, so. Right. So how you doing Last of Us Season 2, Chris?
Okay.
Is it over?
I'm 4 episodes in.
Okay.
I think it's 8 episodes long.
I don't know.
I stopped. I'm 4 episodes in.
I think I watched 3 of them.
I wrote notes, but I want to say all my notes are things that I didn't like. I was reading through them earlier, and I was like, these are all negative.
I'm a grumpy fucker.
I think the show's good, though. As a whole, I'm enjoying the ride. But these are my nitpicks. And also, I'll say, I think the show does some things better than the game and does some things worse than the game, and then obviously vice versa for the game. Yeah. So there's changes, but it's an adaptation. What do you expect? So I said in episode 1, I think they made Ellie too much of a psycho.
Yeah.
And the casting of another thing as a whole, the casting of Bella Ramsey is really showing of what a poor decision that was, in my opinion.
Right.
Because not only is she a psycho, she's way too much of a child for the story that they're telling. Like, she looks like a little girl and is acting like one. And while the rift between her and Joel was there in the game, it made more sense in the game because they actually talked about why there was a rift in the game,
right?
As opposed to just making her seem like a teenage kid who was. And I think
they talk about that more later in the show. I didn't get to those episodes, but I think that's
fine.
Maybe
that's fine. That was after episode 1 when I wrote down.
Yeah.
Episode 2, I think it's funny that they just made Oracle in the show. Like, Barbara Gordon's literally in the show. Not literally, but figuratively.
Yeah.
And then I wrote that there was an obvious note from HBO: we need more zombie action, because that whole sequence of the zombies attacking the town did not happen in the game.
No, yeah,
it was a cool sequence. I thought it was
it was dope. Yeah,
it was definitely a HBO wants this. And then I just wrote in capital letters with an exclamation point: puppy power. I'm assuming that's when for the dogs attacking all the zombies.
Hell
yeah. Episode 3, all I had was that the comment at the end of the episode where she says something and then her girlfriend says, like, why'd you say that? And she's like, I just want to sound badass. And her response was, you don't have to say something badass to be badass. It was a very cringe line. It should have never happened. And also in the game, Ellie was just badass.
Yeah.
You didn't have to make a whole comment about her because you poorly casted the character. And then for episode 4, I wrote a funny line. I thought this was a funny way to do like a add in like pride stuff. What's with all the rainbows? Maybe they're just optimists. I thought that was a funny line. I like the music store scene. It was definitely foreshadowing the end of the maybe not the end of the season, because I know they're cutting it into 2 seasons, but the end of the story. And the I'm going to be your dad line. Another line. What were you thinking?
I know. Yeah, that got so many memes online when that came out. I was like, what are you guys doing?
It's so bad in so many ways. And as somebody who knows a few gay people in his life.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being gay and being trans.
Right.
And Ellie in this character is not trans. She's gay.
Right.
So she would not say, I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
It's just a miss. It's a miss on all fronts.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know who the comment was for, but it didn't stick the landing with anybody.
Yeah. So and then overall thing, the stuff with the scars.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed to me the way the game set, you focus on Ellie for the first basically half of the game, and then the second half of the game you focus on what Abby, and then you have the ending, which is kind of combining the two. I thought they were going to hard focus on Ellie for the first season. They've obviously wanted to jump back and forth a little bit. We don't see Abby per se, but like seeing the leader of the wolves and his whole backstory was a part of Abby's story. Seeing the scars was interesting because you got to have some. There were some things that I think made sense because as a viewing audience, you had to have some sense of who the scars were prior to Ellie fighting them, which I'm sure is going to happen at some point. And then my only complaints per se outside of that are I thought Jackson was more of a thing in the game that was like, let's get back to we never actually saw things that happen in Jackson. It's just that's there, that's home. And I think they focus too much on it where there shouldn't have been like Ellie wouldn't have gone and waited for a vote to go after Joel's murder.
Yeah,
and also
that was kind of silly.
Joel's brother doesn't wait for a vote either.
Right.
Actually, the impetus for the game is that Joel's brother goes off without anybody to do it, and you're following him as backup because you're afraid he's going to die. And yes, it is a revenge story for Ellie too, but so the fact that he kind of is chopped out of the story altogether.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because I like his character.
Yeah, and maybe that's just TV, but that was kind of weird. And I do like how they did the whole because they changed how Ellie's girlfriend finds out about her being immune. Because in the game, there's these things called spores, where if you inhale them, you become a zombie. It's obviously not in the show at all, so they couldn't do that because that's how she finds out. Like she falls into a bunch of spores and doesn't turn. Or in the show, she gets bitten. So far, good. There's some bad moments.
Yeah.
Some moments that should have had a second draft, maybe. But I'll keep watching. I'm going to finish it, and hopefully by next week, I'll be able to spoil the ending for everybody.
Perfect. Movie news. This is cool. According to a report by the Insider, in Snyder, sorry. Yeah. Actress Mia Goth has been cast in Star Wars Starfighters to play villain opposite of Ryan Gosling. I think that's awesome. Mia Goth is an amazing actress. I don't think you have much experience with her because she's a really good horror actress. If you watched that movie X or Pearl or Maxine, that like trilogy, that slasher trilogy they did, that was really good. She's really good at horror, and she also plays the like creepy old woman in that movie that's like killing people. She plays two characters, like herself, like the person being chased, and like the creepy old lady killing everybody. So she's pretty menacing, and I think that's a good casting for a villain.
Knowledge of this woman prior to this. Even looking at pictures of her, like I've seen her before, obviously, but I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I really have no opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think she'll do well as a villain. So with what I've seen, I think that makes sense. Video game news during PlayStation's. Yeah, so we got a bunch of games announced this week, which is cool. Speaking of James Bond, you're gonna get a James Bond game by the Hitman creators. Insane. Dude, that's gonna be wild.
I'm all in.
That sounds exciting. I might even have to play. I never played the Hitman games, but I would play that.
I played a little bit of the first one, and they're good. They're just not my style because they are very stealth driven. Yeah. And that one, the James Bond one, looks very action driven, as it should be.
So during this State of Play event, Marvel Games and Arc System Works announced a new game titled Marvel Tokon Fighting Soul. There will be a 4v4 fighting game giving Marvel characters a Japanese style, and will release in 2026 on PS5 and PC. Looks dope. I think four-person fighting sounds interesting. I think the character designs look super dope. I mean, it looks like Marvel versus Capcom, but I think a lot of the designs are really cool. Captain America's design is sick. They've been killing it with Marvel games lately, like Marvel Rivals. I think this is a really cool idea.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Arc System Works does a lot of anime fighters, so they do. I don't know if they're 4v4 fighters necessarily, but they're all at least 2v2, 3v3. That kind of idea with a very anime style. So they're the ones that whenever you see, I don't know, name big anime franchise or video game that is basically an anime franchise fighter, they're the ones making it. So it's really popular, and I'm terrible at these games, so I'll never play it.
Yeah.
But I love the character designs, and I would love to see Marvel build a comic world with this. Like, make this one of the...
Like Injustice?
Yeah. Yeah, like, give me that, and I will probably check it out in some way. Or, because I believe Arc System Works is a Japanese company...
Manga.
Yeah, make it a manga.
Why not?
Do it.
Why not?
Marvel, you're trying to do more manga stuff. This would be really cool.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I would read it. I think the character designs are really cool. Like you said, I'm terrible at all these Street Fighter games. The learning curve is really...
I'm like good enough at the Mortal Kombat ones, the Injustice, Mortal Kombat, to play them. I will never play another person because I'll just get my ass kicked every time.
Right.
And those have like a cool story mode. So I don't think these normally have like that style of a story mode.
No, this is just fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. So usually for those two franchises, that's the reason I'm playing them.
Looks really cool. During Summer Games Fest, Marvel Games and Twisted Pixel announced a new VR title called Deadpool VR. Insane. This will be a first-person shooter featuring Neil Patrick Harris as Deadpool. This title released in late 2025 to be exclusive on MetaQuest 3S. That sounds insane. I won't be buying a MetaQuest, Chris, but it looks a lot of fun. I think Neil Patrick Harris doing the voice is pretty hilarious. That's cool. I don't know if you're a big VR guy, but
I've only tried VR once because my lady's daughter has a MetaQuest.
Oh, okay.
And all I did, there's apparently a game where you can walk around fast food restaurants. So I was walking around like Chipotle and McDonald's.
That's awesome.
And was trying to get used to it. I didn't get sick and throw up everywhere, so that was a positive.
That's good. That's a start.
Yeah. But Deadpool VR won't be the one to get me in.
No, that's not it.
I think we all know that.
If they were like at Moon Knight VR, you'd be like, "Oh, sign me up." Yeah. But no, I'm sure a lot of people will be going crazy over this.
Yeah, and I didn't look it up, but I saw Ryan Reynolds had like a comment about it too.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I think Neil Patrick Harris will do a good voice for it.
Let's see. He responded with...
You see some, at least in the screenshots, they show, it's like Taskmaster, maybe. Just some general thugs.
See, you say it's a hilarious response, then you don't put it down. Oh, the clip... Okay, so it was a clip, apparently. So the clip apparently shows him making fun of Harris, making fun of the idea that Harris took the role from him. Mm-hmm. So he took one back, and so he did a joking like clip where he played a fake Doogie Howser.
Oh, what happened? Yeah, that's funny.
So I'm sure that had to be something that was like in the works for a while for them to like help promote it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Comic news, folks. Marvel announced their annual Marvel Stormbreakers class of 2025. For those that don't know, this is Marvel's way of spotlighting what they call elite artists working on Marvel titles. This year's class is Alessandro Capuccio, Netho Diaz, Simone DeMeo, Juan Frigeri, Gurihiru, Jonas Scarf, Jeff Shaw, and Luciano Vecchio. Jeff Shaw, really? What do these guys do? I feel like Jeff Shaw's been doing it for a while, right? But anyways,
yeah, but so this used to be the what they call it, Young Bucks or something. I forget,
something like that.
There used to be a thing where it was about like up and coming artists, and now it's just like who are our top artists.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I think these are all great. Especially Alessandro Capuccio really getting his name up there and killing it.
Yeah, he's been doing great stuff in the Ultimates books too this year, and his run on Moon Knight with Jeb McKay is fucking awesome. Everybody check that out. And
I do like that they do that. I think more people should. Like DC should do something too. Like an announcement.
Yeah, definitely. I think more, especially in the artist front, because I don't think artists get enough spotlight, and I think we are just as responsible for that.
Right.
But yeah, I love a lot of these guys. I mean, obviously Jeff Shaw goes back to like the old Donny Cates days. I mean, maybe he'll come back one day, but God rest his soul at the same time. Jonas Scharf is doing a book that we're going to talk about later in the show that I really like. A lot of these guys have good stuff coming out, and a lot of them are attached to the Ultimate Universe, which I think is funny too.
Yeah, it's all very convenient.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Image Comics announced a new original graphic novel tribute to Jack Kirby titled "The Man Who Dreamt the Impossible" from writer Mario Freitas and artist Lucas Pereira. Jack King is the eldest in the care home, prodigy of imagination, always telling fascinating stories, but recently suffering from extreme fatigue, lack of motivation. Then comes Mike, a young orderly who helps restore Jack's spirit in his much-loved library, a place fallen in disarray near abandonment, certainly not unrelated to the sinister pestilence lurking on its shelves. This is dope. I think a tribute to Jack Kirby is awesome. They only just showed the title here, but I kind of like that idea of like, someone who's been creating and is exhausted. I'm really excited. I'm definitely picking this up.
Yeah, anything that gives tribute to Jack Kirby is good in my book. I think it's a cool idea. I love it. I think as a industry, I'd love to see comics celebrate its history a little more.
Yeah.
And like, why there isn't more talk about. I mean, I think Kirby gets a lot of talk, to be fair.
Right.
But true. Other guys like Ditko and so on don't get as much press. But yeah, if you want to give more spotlight to Jack Kirby, he deserves all of it. So yeah,
I think it's gonna be interesting how they handle his characters, because like it's not one of the big two doing this tribute, quote unquote. So are we gonna see images of like, oh, we know who that character is, but they can't exactly say who it is,
I'm sure it'll be the golden skateboarder.
Right, yeah, something like that, which would be funny.
I think it'd be cool if Marvel and DC
allow them to use their characters.
Use our characters for this.
Right, that would be dope.
Yeah. Because then we get New Gods and we'd get Galactus.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, that'd be awesome. IDW Publishing announced that they were publishing a new series based on the classic cartoon action figures Street Sharks. Hell yeah. The series will be written by Stephanie Williams and artist Ariel Medel. Wow. Based on the classic animated series, the upcoming comics will throw leaders as the Sharks protect Fishin City with a range of gene slam threats, including super strong and monstrous lobsters and squids, hell yeah, and diabolical mad scientists that transform into vicious piranha monsters. This comic will deliver on everything fans love from the hit show, and the tone of its era, from the Sharks riding cool motorcycles to eating a lot of burgers and metal while swimming through the city's concrete to take down the bad guys. Yeah, dude, Street Sharks was awesome. I was a huge fan. Super pumped they're doing this comic.
I am so in on this.
And yeah,
dude, I had a ton of these action figures as a kid.
Oh hell yeah, these were awesome. Yeah, and those covers are just absolutely amazing.
Just do me a favor, everybody. Like, please, IDW, don't fuck this up.
Yeah, this is a gold mine here.
It doesn't have to be the next Watchmen.
No, it's Street Sharks,
but don't be themselves, please. Just do something fun with it. I think this could be a really cool, fun book that we could get for a few years and look fondly on and be like super nostalgic about.
Hell yeah.
And it also makes me feel old because I guess this is the 30th anniversary of it as well. So yay.
Cool. That's always something.
I remember those cartoons.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the old Oh my god, what's his the Fast and Furious guy?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. You ever see the old Vin Diesel videos when he was like before he became a big actor, and it was him at cons?
Oh, I don't know. No,
He would be a
he's a big nerd.
spokesman for different action figures and comics
Oh,
and stuff.
really?
And he did a whole thing about Street Sharks. It's hilarious.
Oh my god!
Because he's a scrawny little guy. Like he's not the Vin Diesel, you know.
Yeah, he's not. He's not roided out yet.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I know he's a huge nerd too. That's awesome.
Yeah, if nobody's seen those videos, go look those up and then get hyped for Street Sharks.
Yeah, go watch the Street Shark video with the hype man Vin Diesel. That's amazing. And lastly here, Mad Cave Studios announced their 8th annual talent search for this year. In past years, creators Sarah Cook, Leo Chiola, Maxim Streklov, and Adele E. Talemi won, and their work is being printed in Flash Gordon Quarterly. Also, David Hazen's hit series Nottingham was found during the 2019 talent search. For those interested in talent search, they're looking for writers, artists, colorists, and letterers. You can go to the Mad Cave Studios website to find out how to enter. Very cool. So go check out the website. They're looking for the 2025 talent search.
Yeah. A lot of their in-house creators, because they do have a lot of people who like stay with Mad Cave.
Yeah.
Or do consistent work with Mad Cave, I should say. Mm-hmm. Come from this talent search. So yeah, if you think you got the chops, do it. Cool. Like I believe, because when we interviewed David Hazen a long time ago now.
Yeah.
And if I remember his story correctly, he basically said that they were told that as part of it, they give you, if you go to the website, they'll show you, give a pitch or do something involving these either books or ideas. And at that time, it was do a Robin Hood pitch. And he did like a 4-page story, and that became Nottingham.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
You never know.
You never know. All right, let's talk about what we read this week, Chris.
I read comics.
Hell yeah. I read a manga. Kaiju number 8, volume 13 came out this week. So I got this character with a bow and arrow on the front cover.
I heard that's coming to an end soon.
Is it?
There was a thing about the Japanese. So you probably have time, but the Japanese chapters, there's like 2 or 3 left, and they're then that's gonna be the ending.
Oh man, I love this series. Damn. Okay. Well, I mean, all good things must come to an end. I was wondering, like, if they just keep extending it, or maybe they'll do a prequel. But
look at that side series. He's got
This is like the shit hitting the fan issue. Kaiju's everywhere. Everybody's got to take care of them, and now it's like we're approaching the big fight between the 2 big guys. That's kind of how this like sets it up. We're at the fight. They're there. And now, hopefully, like the whole next volume is just them fighting, because that's what I want. They've been building it up for a while. I've been catching up some stuff from last week. I didn't get to everything this week. You know, I'm basically skipping Batman until Hush is over, because I just don't care, to be honest. And I can do that because there's so much other stuff to read. Absolute Green Lantern number 3. So we get flashbacks in and out of like when this green dome was put over the town. And they find out that John Stewart's trying to figure out ways to open the portal, and he starts throwing like gold at the portal, and it punctures a hole in the green. And I don't know if that's because it's gold or if it's because it's yellow. If it follows like old school Green Lantern terms, that yellow, yellow is and I don't think they've realized that it's the color yellow that's doing it. So as he's trying to figure out like, hey, here's how we open the portal, Abin Sur comes down and just like obliterates him because he's figuring out how to get out of the dome. But we do know that they're out of the dome because Hal Jordan has the black hand that's like cursed with, and John Stewart's daughter has the Green Lantern ring. So something happened. And then we get like the end of the episode, at the end of the issue, Hal Jordan is making gold bullets and putting them in a gun, because we know that he has a gun further in the issue. So something happens where they might have killed Abin Sur, and then they both get infected. So it's a really interesting story. I want to get to the real time and like how we're going to move forward, you know. So I did read Superman 26, great issue. You know, the red kryptonite taking over. We kind of get the full overview, and now we're finally getting Marilyn Moonlight story arc. She's come back, and they're going to fight. So I think she's a cool looking character.
We will see, because I feel like this has happened like 3 times already.
And she's like fled away. Yeah. Yeah, they haven't done anything with her. Hyde Street #6. I thought it was a great issue. Frankie's being a bastard, trapping that lady in her shop. The whole scene with Mr. X-Ray showing the people the movie of like that all the people that were a piece of shit and how like trapped them in the movie. I thought that was a really cool scene of how he like gets people, and then we get glimpses into more. He's like talking about the other people that we haven't seen in Hyde Street, so maybe we'll get exposed next issue to some more people, some more of the residents there. Absolute Wonder Woman #8. We know that, so this is kind of a new story arc. Dr. Poison is being held captive by some sort of military to weaponize the kaiju's cry from the last arc that, like, kill everybody. Dr. Poison is a character that is like basically a non-physical form, so they're in this suit that she has to like contain her. She builds these robots to attack Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman understands what's going on, that it's weaponized, the kaiju thing. She kills them, and then we see that Dr. Poison is like, hey, like, I can help you find Themyscira. I know you found me. So Dr. Poison is kind of being like held against her will to do this research, which I don't think she really wants to do. And that's the whole story arc, is Diana's looking for Themyscira.
Mm-hmm.
Redcoat 12, like you said, finally meet the Northerner. Chasing the Cobbler, all these names, who's trying to arm the South with a bunch of grenades and shit to try to get them to win the war. Then I had 2 Godzilla books this week, which was awesome. So we'll go with Godzilla Heist #4. Yeah. And then I'll talk about the other one second. So basically, Godzilla Heist, the good guys get control of Mecha Godzilla, and it sets up a fight, Mecha Godzilla versus real Godzilla in the next issue. So I'm really liking that series, and it's Ocean's 11 meets Godzilla. It's great. And then now we have Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, Part 2, #1. Hell yeah. So we get Amanda Waller building a Task Force X to be able to fight Godzilla and other Titans. They do this experiment where they make King Shark really big to fight Godzilla, and then the effects wear off eventually. It just becomes normal size. That was kind of cool.
I love that scene when, like, they're fighting, and you got Kaiju Street Sharks, Kaiju King Shark, and Godzilla. And when King Shark shrinks down, Godzilla's like, "Well, we're done here," and he walks
we're
away.
done. He just walks away. He's like, "No threat assessed." Waller gets betrayed by Rick Flag and shot. So I'm sure she won't be coming back at all.
No.
He takes over the program basically with Lex Luthor broken out of prison and with him. The Justice League is on Skull Island right now, and King Kong shows up. So we got a couple different things happening right now. We got Justice League with Kong, Lex Luthor doing some stuff with Godzilla. They're kind of setting it all up. I'm just here for the punching Godzilla shit, so I don't need too much exposition. But
yeah,
we're at a good start here, Chris.
We had to start this one with a wedding as well. Just like the last volume.
Yeah, Barry Allen's wedding for some reason. Yeah, I was like, okay. Whatever.
Well, last volume wasn't a wedding; it was Superman proposing.
That's true.
Yeah. But tomato, Romano.
Well, it's still unnecessary for my kaiju books, but I got to catch up on some stuff like Atom Project, JSA, Absolute Superman. There's a bunch of stuff I need to catch up on. I'll get to.
My entire life is catching up on books, so
that's pretty much.
So I got a couple. Absolute Superman #8.
Hell yeah!
This is Lois and Jimmy, and remember Jimmy's an Omega Man, find Superman in Smallville, and they're both trying to be like, come with me, no, well, come with me. And basically it seems like at some point they're going to have to all work together. Mm-hmm. But Superman's resistant to both of them, and they're fighting each other, and it's basically the entire issue is a bitch fest between the three of them.
Yep.
Until the Peacemakers show up. And then we see what Brainiac did to the I forget the guy's name, but the old Peacemaker we know from the regular universe.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like all hulked out and like has all this different shit that he did to him. Brainiac obviously fucked with his genetics in some way. And that's the big fight, is between him and Superman. And in the end, Jimmy calls the rest of the Omega Man to that area, takes Superman away. and Lois is left with the Peacemakers to go back to Lazarus, even though it seems like she kind of went against the company. I'm sure it's going to work out well for her.
Yeah.
We also get a little more of a look at Ra's al Ghul and what he is in this universe and how he's going to do things. And we get to see what's going on with Ma Kent in the current timeline. So a lot of stuff happening. Beginning of a new story arc. I thought it was really good. It's a lot of event books this week, people.
Yep.
We'll start with the smallest of the 3 event books. 3, right? Yep. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, number 1. Greatest book of the year because Miles ends up going to the Ultimate Universe through reasons that you saw in the free comic book day issue, and immediately runs into Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man's kid, who is using the black suit, and they're fighting the Spot. So right there, best comic ever.
Nice.
They try to make the Spot and the Ultimates a little more horror-esque, a little more serious, but Miles gets there and immediately is just like, I don't have time for you, Spot. Like, it kicks him in the face and takes him down. And the Spot's just like, wait, why'd you call me the Spot? That's not my name. It seems like he just got his powers. And then he looks at Ultimate Spider-Man and is just like telling him what's going on. And they literally do a thing where it's like one monologue later about the multiverse. And it goes and they're talking. And it's Miles calling Spider-Man Spider-Man. And he calls his son Venom. And the kid goes, oh, Venom, that's a cool name. So it seems like that's how he's going to get his name, Venom.
Nice.
And it's basically Miles looking for his sister, who's 11 months old, who got trapped in this parallel universe. But along the way, as he's looking, he runs into Ant-Man and the Wasp, who kind of taken captive and are like, hey, why are you here? What are you doing? Because the signature everybody in the universe is picking up is of the Maker, because the way Miles got there was through a teleporter that the Maker gave him. So everybody wants to know what's going on. Luckily, those two find him first. So, good first issue. Enjoyed it. I'm way behind on Miles Morales Spider-Man stuff. So some of it was like a little, I didn't realize he was wearing this suit now. And this, if you look up the suit he's wearing now, I think it's the coolest suit they've given him. Keep that suit. It's unique, but it keeps with the Spider-Man stuff. It goes with his powers a little bit. I like it. Mike, we talked about Jonathan Hickman in the interview. So we talk about Imperial number 1.
Oh shit!
This is a thick comic.
Yeah,
people.
that is like 100 pages right there.
So it starts with Hulk, Amadeus Cho Hulk, and She-Hulk going back to Scar, which is the planet that World War Hulk takes place on.
Oh boy!
Because Scar, son of Hulk, has been murdered. And Bruce wants to know why. So they go there. There's a whole thing. And we end up finding out that he's not the only leader of a planet, of a empire that has been murdered in that time frame. There's been 4 across the galaxy. And this is all taking place around a time where the Spartans and some of the other factions are trying to bring peace treaties to create basically an intergalactic highway. They want to create these portals so that people can move freely, have like basically make a United Nations of the galaxy kind of thing. But somebody is not happy with it. And they hint about it along the way, but long story short, we find out it's the Wakandans. And the Wakandans get to the peace summit, or a Wakandan gets to the peace summit and assassinates somebody there with a vibranium bullet and takes off. So the book ends with like, well, I guess it's war against Wakanda here. Good first issue. It's a Jonathan Hickman book, so it's a lot of hey, this is what's happening to get to the point where we're going to get some action. And I'm sure this, as we talked about with the announcement of the Imperial Wars books, I'm sure this book in particular is going to deal with the political ramifications of everything, while those books will deal with the action. So at least that's the feeling I'm getting from this first issue. So take that in mind if you're going to jump into it. But I liked it. Star-Lord's in it. The Hulks are all in it. You get to see Gladiator at one point.
Nice.
Like a lot of cool galactic characters. The book that's the talk of the town this week, Mike.
Oh, shit.
Marvel Knights: The World to Come.
Nice.
Obviously, I was really excited to have Quesada on interior art again because that hasn't happened in a long time. This was sold as like the end of the Marvel Universe book that Christopher Priest and Joe Quesada wanted to do, based on their times at Marvel Knights. It's really, at least in this first issue, it's only one issue. It feels like Christopher Priest telling the end of the Black Panther story. Because what this issue is we see T'Challa later in life, and he realizes that he has to have an heir. So there's time gaps in this where it's Quentin Tarantino-esque, where we jump from like 43 years in the past to like current time to so on and so forth. But we see T'Challa needs an heir, so he gets a wife and takes an old lover and brings her. She becomes pregnant, and that kid is now in the present timeline challenging T'Challa for the throne. He wants to become the next Black Panther. He wants to take over the throne. He thinks his dad can no longer lead Wakanda.
Cool.
So the story is along the way, the different things that happen. Now, the reason this has become the big news of the week, Mike, I don't know if you've seen, but some reason, somehow, T'Challa, a black man, and his new wife, a black woman, give birth to a white guy. So when it's shown at the end and the kid takes the mask off, because you remember in the movie where they do the rights to become king and he has to fight Killmonger. They do that sequence, but it's with T'Challa and his kid.
Right.
And he takes the mask off and it's the white guy with blonde hair. But T'Challa keeps referring to him as a son. We see where T'Challa has a wife. She becomes pregnant throughout the book and all this. White guy with blonde hair.
Something's up there, right?
So something's going on. And all I'll say about
that is deliberate. Like,
yeah, all I'll say about the controversy is Christopher Priest is a good enough writer where he knew he had a like shocking moment that was going to break the internet.
He knew people were going to do that. Yeah.
I also I just have such faith that this isn't because obviously I've seen both sides of the political spectrum going nuts about this. And to the people who are saying they're trying to whitewash Black Panther, Christopher Priest has written some of the best Black Panther ever written.
Yeah.
Christopher Priest is also a black man.
Yes, he is.
I seriously doubt that he would want to have his name behind the whitewashing of Black Panther. So I'm sure I'll give it. I want to see where he goes with it. He has a story here.
Right.
Don't react to the moment. React to the story when we're in it. But it was I wish it didn't get spoiled on me because I would have been like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
But it was a decent issue. But it was if you're not a Black Panther fan, it's very Black Panther centric.
That's awesome. That's one way to get people riled up.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to sell some issues because some speculators are going to speculate.
Oh, hell yeah. They're going to come out of it. Yeah. He knew what he was doing.
And then my final thing, Mike, because next week, the new volume of Umbrella Academy starts.
Yes, it does.
So I had bought these like oversized library editions.
I remember you did, yeah.
And I figured what better time to reread all of Umbrella Academy than right now. Nice. So I got through Apocalypse Suite, and it's as good as I remember, dude. Nice. I read it in one sitting.
Nice.
It's so funny because we all think of the show now for Umbrella Academy, and then you reread this,
right?
And you forget how comic booky it is, and how weird it is, and
yeah,
it's just a good time all around. And then what I liked about this too is it's not only the 7 issues, but they put some of the short stories that they did for the old Dark Horse annuals in it as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then it's all oversized, so all the art's oversized and everything, and it looks beautiful in that style.
That always looks so nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to read the other 2 volumes in the next 4 or 5 days.
Good luck.
But if I get hooked like I did with this one, it won't be hard.
Yeah. Nice.
If you've never read Umbrella Academy, go buy those trades.
It's really good.
Great. This is one of my favorite comics ever, this first volume. So definitely check it out.
It's good stuff.
But Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter /X. Where can they find you and or the show?
Find me on X or any other social media network at Fortress Chris. Also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And you can find the show at Fortress Comics on X and other social media networks, as well as fortressofcomicnews.com. And supporting the show, best ways to do it, 5-star reviews and podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version. And then if you want more, there's patreon.com/fortresscomics. Right, thank you so much for watching and or listening this week. And I will see you all here next week.